Okay.
Mm.
We're mostly gonna be looking at
Um,
this one, but
so okay, since we're talking about it, there's like two times usually in a movie, arc, story, whatever, where the protagonist confronts directly the antagonist. Two like central figure moments, I should say at the very least, like a side moment where they like call each other on the phone, or that's not really gonna count. They have to be like in direct conflict, like directly, pretty much in front of each other. At least their influence or ideology or whatever, directly clashing. Um, or at least there's two major battles, I'll say. So bringing that to this, you could say the second major battle in this fight was a Hidari fight, or you could say it's going to be upcoming with the Jura fight. In that case, what's the first major battle? I was saying earlier is kind of like a joke, but I was saying the first fight could be like the brief skirmish between Boruto and Hidari, assuming Boruto's the main character, which again, it's weird because we don't know who the main character is, which is so sad, as well as the protagonist and antagonist, which is also the worst. But that would be the direct confrontation, is that he had to leave because he gained, because you're supposed to get like a small benefit gain, whatever, win,
yeah,
narrative win in the first battle. He gained the fact that he needs to not fight them because he needs to save the world. He gained that knowledge or understanding, which he didn't because he stayed to fight Hidari the second time around and just won for no consequence at all. But like that's another discussion for another day.
yeah.
The better example would be Boruto versus Mitsuki
That's what I said. I think
at
that
the end.
is the first battle.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I agreed with you from the get go,
I know,
realistically,
I
but I was
know.
just throwing something out there. Yeah. So with this, I would say this is Boruto fighting this identity thing because Boruto's not learning something in this arc, and that's fine. Boruto's having the same static arc as Naruto had, to where Boruto's whole journey, at least for now, is about changing the world around him. Boruto already has what he needs to have from the very beginning, and it's about making the world realize that, or making the audience realize that. Well, the audience could already know that, but again, it's about exploring the unknown. We haven't seen Boruto confront something change worthy of this degree yet, whether that be Mitsuki or the Shinji or whatever. So we don't know if Boruto can actually overcome that until he actually does. But it's basically an inevitability. The outcome's already basically predetermined because neither of them are going to change, or at least Boruto's not going to change, or we're going to see if he changes. But like one of them's already stronger than the other is the point. So with that being said, we see Boruto's already overcome omnipotence. He just has to wait for the rest of the world to catch up to where Boruto's at, basically. We see that through the Mitsuki fight. So his identity, he's already found it. He's already solidified in this because he's going to try and just forge his new path or whatever. He's embraced omnipotence, going to accept it. Despite all omnipotence has taken away from it, it doesn't matter. And Jura is fluid, unlike Boruto, who's like stuck, rigid, already at the end destination. Jura's still trying to find his end way. So through the physical fight, it's possible that Boruto can give this to Hidari, maybe even through this humanity path of talking to him. And I can imagine, instead of physically defeating Boruto, what's going to happen is, and I probably is using this as an example because I have it on my mind because I'm currently watching season 2, but Made in Abyss, I'm thinking of the movie where the main characters fight Bone Druid. So, or even ironically enough, Platinum Man, based on how that, but like they do it bad. But anyways, Made in Abyss does it really good because they physically and narratively defeat Bone Druid, except they didn't actually physically defeat Bone Druid because basically, without spoiling anything, Bone Druid has like a whole army and like 1,000 clones of himself basically that he could just use to just destroy, decimate, absolutely annihilate the main characters anytime he wants. And the fact that he's just letting them continue on their journey is like he just is doing that because he was convinced to do that. Like he convinced himself basically because the others convinced him to convince himself. The point is, it's possible Boruto can prove Jura wrong, or that Jura can find his own identity. He can go on his own path. Boruto's going to convince Jura to stop what he's doing and go leave to go find his own journey path, whatever, in the same way Boruto has, is what I think might happen if they fight in this way. But in that case, it's weird that Boruto's injured. It's like,
Well, in regards to the injury thing, um, what I was gonna say is, if we're gonna like analyze why Boruto got injured, besides just Jura's good at sniping, what's the situation surrounding it? He's being interrogated by Kawaki because Boruto, throughout this whole arc, has been like Amato and just not answering people's questions, constantly withholding information, and so on and so forth. So, what I was wondering is, because to some extent, Boruto's been making strides with winning people over, as he has slowly but surely. But every time he doesn't answer people's questions like this, I feel like as much progress as he makes, they're gonna have trouble trusting him. He's gonna look suspicious. And that's what leads to, Kawaki like grabbing him, like, yo, who is your informant? Why aren't you telling us, basically? He makes him look sus. And so, where did I write this? 1 second. Let me just scroll down so I can just okay, so this is where it gets interesting. This is a completely different thing, though, in this case. But you could interpret Boruto's struggle in this arc as actually being against the Leaf Village as he regains their trust. Which, in this case, the Shinju are kind of just like the thing that brings about this situation. They're both what allows Boruto to become trustworthy by helping the village fight the Shinju, but also what allows him to display as untrustworthy by not revealing information about the Shinju and Kashinkoji and stuff. And so, it's just one of those things where Boruto's flaw that he fails here could be that he's not being upfront about everything. The thing that's weird is, okay, well, it's not like Jura beat Boruto because he was being upfront with his comrades. His comrades were gone when he beat Boruto, so, it's still weird. But they could be going in this sort of direction so that it's Boruto's gonna have to, reveal information. And what I was wondering about, though, is the village doesn't like Sasuke because he's a traitor, right? Is Boruto gonna have to, choose? They're gonna be like, Sasuke's a traitor, Boruto. If you want our trust, don't save that traitor. Is he gonna have to choose? I don't know there. But that's another topic for another day. But the point is, this failure could be because of his untrustworthiness of not revealing information. But then it's what is that gonna lead to in this final battle with Jura? Because Jura's removed from that. It's not a clash between Boruto and Jura in that case. If it's a clash between Boruto and the village / Kawaki, I guess it's also weird. He just tells them and then he has to decide. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. But your thoughts so far?
So, okay. I think Boruto doesn't have to defeat Jura. Boruto has to prove that he's better than Jura. So he doesn't have to prove Jura's answer is wrong or anything like that. This is similar to, like I was saying with the Made in Abyss thing, to where Boruto needs to doubt himself and then overcome that to prove to Jura, and it kind of similar to what Naruto did to Pain. But with the Made in Abyss movie, the antagonist, Bone Druid, his whole thing was that he wanted to find the answers to things, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to spoil too much. But, the show's called Made in Abyss. He wants to find the answers to the abyss. And he's perfectly capable of doing that. That's his whole goal. And part of the way of doing that would be by defeating the antagonists. The protagonists, sorry. The protagonists prove that they are more worthy of finding the answers than he is. So it's not like they're proving that, oh, he was wrong all along. You need comrades to find the answers to the abyss. Or, oh, you never could find the answers to the abyss all along because you were lacking blah, blah, blah. No, he perfectly can. In fact, he arguably should. But it's the fact that the protagonists are even better at doing what he wants to accomplish than he is. So rather than him using them to accomplish his own goal by him doing it himself, he's now using his power to support them so that they can accomplish, again, the thing that he wants to do anyways. His goal is being accomplished either way. It's just about who's the one doing it.
Yeah.
And if Boruto can prove by overcoming whatever doubts he's going to have, which he should have already had, but he can have, like, oh, I can't believe I lost the soul thorn. Man, omnipotence really does suck, doesn't it? Everyone hates me. Oh, I'm bleeding out. Ah, Momoshiki, I'm so much so in despair. If he can just overcome that, he doesn't even have to fight Jura necessarily. He just has to show Jura that he's gonna stand strong in his convictions and he's not gonna change no matter what Jura or anyone else does. Because this is his path, the path of a shinobi. If he can just stay true to that, validate his own path, he can, in a way, validate Jura's path, and then Jura can, in a way, support him. Or at least agree with them on something. Kind of like Naruto and Zabuza.
I mean, the problem is I don't think Jura's just gonna be, like, done being antagonist here.
Yeah.
So I don't think they would just come to an agreement of any sort.
Well, what if Boruto convinces Jura that Code's the only antagonist?
He convinces them to go after Code. That would be an interesting way to get Code involved in the next arc, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of just works with all this, kind of. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, they could also...
You're saying I think?
This is where it just gets weird, because it's like, Jura could, in theory, just leave, and then the final battle occurs in a different way for Boruto. But why would Jura just leave? As far as, like, I feel like he would feel confident in just beating everyone.
But exactly, that's the thing. This is why Hidari lost. In fact, why you could argue, you shouldn't argue this, but why you could argue that it's actually a good thing that Sarada didn't answer Hidari's question, because it sounds so oxymoronic based on Hidari's answer or question. But Hidari wasn't trying to understand humanity, whereas Jura is. So through giving humanity its chance, despite having sniped Boruto and being confident that he could go wipe out Boruto right now, as well as literally everyone else, he's gonna fight them, but in doing so, he's allowing them to prove their conviction, which is the thing he's testing them on all along, even if subconsciously. And so because they're inevitably gonna prove it, that's enough for Jura. Because that also validates Jura's path of, like, he could do what Hidari couldn't, and try to understand humanity or whatever. And through his gaining of the knowledge of understanding humanity, through humanity proving that they deserve to live, Jura is going to understand that, and Jura is going to get a benefit, a gain from humanity winning in this case.
Yeah,
I'm surviving.
His goal is just like, oh, I'm gonna kill you now, Boruto, though. It's just kind of like, it just seems like he's presenting as though he's done with the dilly-dally. He's just gonna kill him, like.
But he